Hey guys, this week's information before the workout is about nutrition. Now this is just one person's story, mine, about some of the nutrition aspects that I try to focus on in conjunction with working out. I'm not the poster child for fitness or physical health, but I was very lucky in my very first job when I was out of school to work with an individual who did her master's degree in nutritional science at University of Guelph, and she gave a ton of tips to those of us that worked there on food nutrition. Didn't take them as seriously as I should have at the time, but what I'm going to work for, I do now, but what I'm going to give to you guys today is essentially a modification on her recipe for a smoothie. Now, Gail and I have talked about this before. The nutrition piece, as long as you are eating healthy at home, because we know that for most of you, youth curlers, you're still living at home with your parents. So as long as you're getting a balanced, nutritious meals, modifying your diet isn't necessary. You just want to focus on making sure that the things that you are eating are including healthy elements. But if you're among the adults who are working out here and you know that your diet is loaded with processed foods more than you want to, this can be pretty good. So I'm just going to work through what I use as a morning smoothie. You can do it at any time of the day, but I find for me, having this in place of my breakfast, because I was getting pretty bad, breakfast was normally some processed food like a muffin, or a pastry, or a breakfast sandwich and a coffee. You're getting calories out of that, but a lot of that is from fat and carbohydrates. Not good things to really start and power and energize your day, keep you feeling full till lunch. So I've got my blending cup out. I'm just going to throw the ingredients in. I'm going to talk through them as I do that, guys. I'll try my best to then document in the email that I send out for this week what goes in this smoothie, and then feel free to try it at home if you'd like to give it a go. So one of the first things I put in, I try to get a lot of vegetables in there, as many as I can. This is cucumber, so I'm just going to thin slice some cucumber in there. Normally it works out to about half a cup. So half a cup of cucumber. Next thing I throw in there is about a third to a half a cup. I think I'm going to use about half a cup today of carrots. I chop them up before I put them in the cup here so that it's easier for the blender to deal with them. But yeah, about half a cup of baby cat carrots. Next thing going in there, I'll take a whole banana. This one's pretty big. I try to go with a medium or smaller size banana. So what I'll do is I'll put about 3/4 of this one. Once again, cut it thin slices, put it in our blending cup. As I said, I'm gonna end up using about 3/4 of this banana. The other quarter, I'll save, can eat that. Generally, I just eat it as I'm going along, but today, put our 3/4 of the banana in that cup, get on to the next ingredient. Next ingredient we're gonna add in, this is my first optional ingredient. If you don't have this, don't worry about it. But I do, out of the 3 optional ingredients I'm gonna recommend today, this one is the one I would definitely suggest, especially if you've ever had either digestive issues or joint inflammation or things like that. This is just ginger root. And I'm going to peel the ginger root and put a few small slices in there. You do not need much. It has a pretty powerful flavor, but as I said, the anti-inflammatory properties of ginger are pretty good, and because of the strong flavor, it will balance out some of those vegetable flavors that you're going to get in there that you may think, oh, okay, I don't know if I'll like this. Ginger can definitely add to that. So this is what I'll end up putting in there is probably half to 3/4 of a teaspoon of peeled minced ginger. Now, you may have a better tool to peel your ginger. I just happen to use the knife that I've been cutting everything else with. Just be careful with it. All you're trying to do here is peel that sort of brown skin off. That is not terribly good. Your body really can't use that, can't digest that. So yeah, you just want to get the skin off, peel it, and then just get to the ginger root that's underneath and put that in your smoothie. Okay, so we've got our ginger ready to go. As I mentioned, just sort of half, 3/4 of a teaspoon of ginger, works out to about 4 small slices. In it goes. That's gonna add a really strong and, to me, good flavor to your smoothie. Next thing we're gonna add, I'm moving into the freezer now. This I try to keep on my definitely put in, but you could move it to the optional list. I didn't start putting this in until after about 6 months of doing smoothies. I've got about 1/3 of a cup of frozen avocado. You can pick this up at the grocery store in the freezer section. They've got it, pre-frozen, cut and pre-frozen. If you have some avocado left over at home, you can cut that up and put it in there as well. I like using the frozen fruits and vegetables for this part of the smoothie, because that means I don't need to add any ice or anything like that later. This is what's giving me the coldness to the smoothie. So, as I mentioned, about 1/3 of a cup of avocado frozen into the blending cup. Next thing that I like to add, we're gonna start moving into the frozen fruits. So I try my best, if I can find them at the grocery store, if I can get frozen dark cherries or blackberries, I'll add a few of those in. This is just gonna be about 1/4 of a cup. Like, it works out to 3 or 4 dark cherries if I have them. Just put them in. I am gonna use other dark fruits, dark frozen fruits. That'll help give some color other than green to the smoothie. Sticking with the dark frozen fruits, I went with 1/2 a cup of blueberries. Sometimes I'll go as low as 1/3, but these dark sweet fruits, they're gonna help, especially if you're not a huge fan of sort of that vegetable flavor. So I went with 1/2 a cup of wild blueberries frozen. Final frozen fruit that I'm gonna add in, I really prefer a blend of fruits. So you can go to the grocery store and get a tropical fruit blend or a 3 fruit or 4 fruit blend. Maybe you just like peaches, maybe you like pineapple. It's a couple of your favorite fruits in there. One of the things that I found out over time is things like frozen pineapple works really great. Frozen peach works really great. And frozen strawberry. All have really great flavors, so I tend to use those. I use 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup. Today I use 3/4 of a cup. It's looking like the cup here is getting full, but don't worry. Lots of space, still lots of things to go in there. But that amount of frozen fruit will help make sure that you're getting about 5 servings of fruit in this one smoothie, in this blender cup, and really will cover the taste of any of those vegetables if you're not a big vegetable fan. All right, we're gonna hit 2 more of my optional ingredients. These ones are definitely optional, but I do think that they make, for me anyway, the smoothie so much better as far as what I need to get out of it from a nutrition perspective. The first one is cold ground and milled flaxseed. Flaxseed's got lots of omega-3 oils in it. It's great as far as fiber goes. What I end up putting in is 3, not heaping, but just 3 level teaspoons of the flaxseed. That will give a tiny bit of grittiness, which is why I say, put this on the optional list. I've really learned with only 3 teaspoons that, I can't taste a huge difference, but the difference it makes as far as, digestive health, just those omega-3 oils, those good oils that you're getting out of that, this is really, really worth adding in my opinion. The final optional ingredient, and truly this is optional, I use, you can get this at the health food section of your local grocery store. You can go into a GNC Health as well, or any health food store. This is just, this brand happens to be Amazing Greens Green Superfood. It's filled with berry extracts and things that are great as far as an antioxidant perspective goes. It's also filled with a lot of great fiber and like wheatgrass and barley, a lot of grain extracts that are really good for digestive health as well. The reason I put this on my optional list, and I'm going to put one teaspoon in, is because this costs about $30 for this canister. So it's a little price, but the price is a little high. But as I said, for what you're getting out of it, I find it really useful. Consider it, but this is definitely on the optional list. This is one of the last things that I started adding and tweaking with my smoothie, just to give me some of that extra, those extra green vegetables that I wasn't putting in otherwise. Now we've put a ton of fruit and veg in there. We're still not done, but we've got no liquid in there. So at this point, when my cup's close to that 3/4 or a little more full mark, I'm gonna add in my liquids. I choose to add in you could use water, you could use milk. I choose to add a non-dairy liquid in there that still is vitamin fortified. So I'm gonna use, today I'm gonna use almond beverage or almond milk. So we're gonna put, depending on how thick or thin you want the smoothie to be, I recommend that you put a cup of your non-dairy beverage in there just to give it some liquid. Okay, I've put, actually it was just a little bit over a cup, so maybe a cup, not even a cup and a quarter, but with all the fruit in there, it does fill up pretty high. So just over a cup of the almond milk. The last thing I'm gonna put in there for liquid is actually juice. Any juice is okay. I really recommend a juice that's, no sugar added. So I've just got this Oasis Health Break. It's got pomegranate, blueberry, blackberry, cherry juice in there. Once again, you want something, you really don't need the sugar, so just the fruit juice is gonna help naturally to sweeten what you've got in this blender. So now I'm gonna add about a third, anywhere between a third and a half a cup. Today, just so we blend the smoothie up a little bit more, we're gonna add half a cup of this Oasis juice to the blender. All right, there we go. We've got the liquids in there. Now I've got the protein to add and one more vegetable. So the protein that I'm gonna add today is yogurt. So this is dairy based, but I am using a skyr or Icelandic style yogurt. The thing that I find important when we're adding that in as my protein source is I want a protein source that's had as much of the water removed as possible. So I'm taking that skyr yogurt that's made here in Canada in the Icelandic style, about 3/4 of a cup, because when you look at the nutritional facts on here, 3/4 of a cup gives you 2 grams of sugar, but 21 grams of protein. So rather than using a powder, you can take this yogurt. Greek yogurt's fine too, has a little less protein pack per gram than the skyr. So we're gonna add in 3/4 of a cup of the skyr yogurt to our smoothie. All right, one last item to add in there, and you've noticed probably the only green vegetable other than the supplement that I put in there is cucumber. I'm gonna have one more green. It's the leafy green that I found to be the easiest for me to blend in a smoothie and not really alter the taste, and that's baby spinach. So this one, we're almost at the top of the cup, but I do recommend, if you can, we wanna use about a half a cup of baby spinach. I know it may seem like a lot, but it just basically is gonna add some more of that, the vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin A, little bit of iron in there, and it's pretty non-offensive as far as green vegetables go. So add that half a cup in there, and then you're pretty much ready to blend. So now, let's get that lid on. As we press down, it may look, oh my gosh, Ben, look at all that liquid. Maybe you can't see it on the camera. It's getting really close to the top. I've done this enough times now that as long as I've measured everything out properly, I should be able to close this lid. No spillage, but we've maximized that space. We've got lots and lots of good fruit and veg in that cup. Set it in the base. I just let some of the liquid flow down to the bottom, so that's one of the first things that I'm gonna start to blend. Now, we're ready to kick it off. Let's blend this up. And there we go. Takes about a minute to blend up the larger chunks, and then a minute I just let it blend for a minute while it's in a more liquid form. I'll take the lid off and I'll flip it up right away and not let any of what's collected on the blades drip back into the cup, primarily because some of the more fibrous vegetables, like the carrots, especially like the ginger root, if there's any of the fibers, they tend to collect and grab onto the blades. I'm a texture guy. I don't need to be drinking fibers or at least ginger root fibers. So I let that collect on the blades, and then I just rinse those off so that way I can get right to the smoothie, the good stuff. So now we got our smoothie ready to go. I'm gonna drink it while it's nice and cold. This nice purple color that's there, that will last for about 20 to 30 minutes. Believe it or not, those green vegetables will overpower it pretty quick. So this, the recipe that I use today, I will drink this whole cup for breakfast. I started out with about half of this recipe. So realistically, what I just put in the glass right now is what I was having, this glass plus just a little bit more. This is great because for me, it replaces my entire breakfast. It tastes good, and as you saw, I'm getting somewhere between 4 and 6 servings of fruit and 4 and 6 servings of vegetables, 20 grams of protein, a ton of dietary fiber in there. So I'm really putting everything that I need that's natural food, nothing processed other than the final bit where I blend it up in the blender here. So if you want to give the smoothie a try, I'll try to send out the recipe for this, or try a recipe of your own, see if you've got something creative that really is good and tasty, or just continue to eat well at home. Eat those 3 balanced meals, feed your body the fuel that it needs every time you're about to sit down for a meal, and especially before a couple hours before your workout, or 30 minutes to 60 minutes after your workout. Cheers, everyone. That tastes pretty good. Like I said, I really like the beverage when it's cold. It's right consistency, right texture. If you do try this, let me know what you think of it. We'll see you Wednesday.